Billionaires aren't all born with silver spoons in their mouths. Many of them had very humble beginnings without worrying about deadlines and disagreements with their bosses like us. Now, Jeff Bezos, the richest man on Earth, has a net worth above $202 billion, making him the first person to cross that $200 billion threshold. He is wealthier than he has ever been. But there is a little question. Will Jeff Bezos be the first trillionaire? Well, let's find that out together. Welcome to Money Vision. Now, before we continue, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and you give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video from us. Before becoming the world's richest man. Jeff Bezos wasn't born rich, and he wasn't born as the founder and CEO of Amazon as well, but he showed signs of brilliance from an early age. When he was a toddler, he took apart his crib with a screwdriver, just because he wanted to sleep in a real bed. His source of inspiration happened to be his grandfather, Preston Guise, who helped kindle his passions for intellectual pursuits. And at a commencement address in 2010, Jeff said that his grandfather taught him that it is harder to be kind than clever. As a kid, he wanted to be a space entrepreneur, and now he owns a space exploration called Blue Origin. Blue Origin has outlined plans to build a spaceship and lunar lander capable of delivering cargo to the moon, perhaps to support colonies there. Besides Amazon and Blue Origin, he owns a media publisher, The Washington Post, which he purchased for $250 million in 2013. He personally invested in Google in 1998, and his $1 million early investment would likely have made him a billionaire even without his extensive Amazon wealth. Now, before he did all of these things, Bezos graduated from Princeton University in 1986 with a degree in electrical engineering and computer science after changing his major from physics. He's always been pretty ambitious. While his boss tried to persuade Bezos to stay at his company, Bezos was already determined to start his own company. He felt he'd rather try and fail at a startup than never try it at all. And so, Amazon was born. Amazon.com was started in a garage with a potbelly stove. In the early days, a bell would ring in the office every time someone made a purchase, and everyone would gather around to see whether anyone knew that customer. Can you imagine the sound of ringing bells every time a purchase that happens today? The world would definitely become deaf. Actually, it took only a few weeks before it was ringing so often, they had to make it stop. He has gone on record with a formula for success that includes taking bold bets, riding the change, and rebounding from setbacks. Breaking the amount down even more, Bezos is making about $321 million a day, $13.4 million an hour, $222,884 a minute, and $3,715 a second. As Amazon CEO, he is entitled to a base salary. Now, while that base salary is the core of Bezos' income for his role as Amazon's chief, he is entitled to a range of other perks. For example, Amazon pays for Bezos' security services and business travel expenses. Amazon lists these perks as other compensation for its CEO in regulatory sports. His largest single-day increase is $13 billion, which he achieved on July 20th, 2020. How does he spend his money? Spending the amount of money Bezos has sounds too impossible, right? One of his major purchases was the Washington Post in 2013. As we said, it cost him $250 million, and since Bezos' acquisition, the Post has greatly expanded its digital offerings and readership has exploded. As he is one of the country's biggest landowners, he and his family own at least 5 homes across the US. Now, it's not that hard to believe that he has amassed a massive real estate portfolio from his home state of Washington to New York City. So why don't we take a look at some of his more praiseworthy properties? $80 million mega residence in New York City with 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, and a 7-room master suite. Inside the master bathroom is a breathtaking view of the Empire State Building from the tub. The top floor has a glass observatory with wonderful views of the entire city. Since Amazon has a sprawling headquarters in Washington, Bezos must have another luxurious estate there too, which is rumored to have cost $53 million. It's a 20,600 square foot, 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house that sits right on the shores of Lake Washington and has 310 feet of private shoreline. The house is in Medina and is an exclusive suburb that is also home to some other big shots. And with 8% of his net worth, Bezos bought the most expensive property in LA. The Amazon CEO purchased the home of billionaire David Geffen for $165 million. His brand new mega mansion purchase price set a new record for the Beverly Hills area, and who else could be the top paying buyer? The property spans 9 acres of land and hosts a massive main mansion as well as 2 guest houses. And no need to describe all the details of the house, as it's obvious it would be unrealistic opulence. Besides real estate, he has invested $42 million in the project of a 10,000-year clock. The clock has a handful of names. Some call it the Millennium Clock, others call it the Clock of the Long Now. Jeff Bezos calls it the 10,000-year clock, and since he spent an estimated $42 million to build it inside a mountain that he owns, well, that name seems to be the real contender. It is intended as a monument to long-term thinking, meant to inspire its visitors to be mindful of their place in the long arc of history. He has also announced he was committing $10 billion to an initiative to combat climate change. Climate change is the biggest threat to our planet. I want to work alongside others to amplify known ways and to explore new ways of fighting the devastating impact of climate change on this planet that we all share. He wrote on his Instagram account. Now, it's not only the philanthropic act made by him, but we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. The initiative, called the Bezos Earth Fund, will begin giving out grants this summer, but he didn't provide any additional details on the specific areas that he intends to focus on. It's one of the biggest charitable pledges ever. The money will come out of his personal fortune, not from Amazon. And for the philanthropy, Bezos has pledged $2 billion and said he plans to use the charity to support homeless families and launch educational programs in underserved communities. A non-profit bearing Bezos' last name, the Bezos Family Foundation, it has given millions of dollars to the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center in Seattle. His ex-wife, Mackenzie Bezos, opted in 2019 to sign the Giving Pledge, in which participants promised to give away more than half of their wealth during their lifetimes or in their wills. However, among the 5 richest people in America, he is the only one who hasn't signed on to the philanthropic commitment. Is he going to be the first trillionaire? Okay, we already know that Jeff Bezos is the world's wealthiest person by a healthy margin, and he is the founder and CEO of one of the world's few trillion-dollar companies. But before this decade is over, one extremely optimistic estimate projects that Amazon CEO could almost be worth $1 trillion all by himself. His wealth has continued to grow steadily, even with ex-wife Mackenzie getting roughly $38 billion of his Amazon stake as part of his 2019 divorce settlement. Now, if that pace of 34% annual growth continues, then Bezos' total net worth could top the $1 trillion mark before the end of 2026, at which point he will be 62. Now, this is all according to an analysis from the software review site Comparison that determined Bezos' personal wealth, but it pulled all the data from September, meaning its analysis doesn't account for the gains that Bezos has seen during the coronavirus pandemic, which has caused Amazon stock to skyrocket as more people turn to online shopping. So while most of the world readies itself for economic depression as a result of the COVID pandemic, Jeff Bezos is on his way to becoming the first trillionaire. Now, Bezos is not alone among tech titans with fortunes surging to massive new heights. Comparison looked at 25 of the richest people and found that only 11 had a realistic shot at becoming trillionaires during their lifetimes. Bezos will get there first, but Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg could be the youngest, with his current growth rate on pace to put him in the 4 comma club by 2036, when he will be 51. But news of Bezos' path to trillionaire status has understandably sparked outrage, with many people taking to social media to express their disgust. Thousands of Twitter users are using the hashtag #RIPCapitalism to criticize the obscene wealth gap. One tweet with more than 24,000 likes reads, "I don't know how anyone can defend an economic system where a plutocrat Jeff Bezos makes $24 million during a pandemic while 33 million Americans lose their jobs. The disease plaguing our nation is capitalism, and the vaccine is democratic socialism. RIP capitalism." What do you think about Jeff Bezos becoming a trillionaire? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.